Hi, my name is Resad. Welcome to my business in Sarajevo. Come in and I'll tell you more. What we do here is that we are a sourcing agency that mainly works with furniture production in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We are 100% export orientated and mainly export furniture to Denmark as well as the rest of Scandinavia. We work with Danish and Scandinavian brands and we manufacture furniture for them down here. My parents are both Bosnian Muslims. We were attacked by neighbouring countries. That's why my father went to Denmark with my uncle to seek asylum. They then applied for family reunification, and my mother, sister and I then went to Denmark. I have always had a dream about having some kind of business down here. I was alone in Bosnia on holiday, and one evening I met my current girlfriend. Thoughts and dreams became plans and a strategy for how to make them a reality. I contacted the Danish Refugee Council, who were handling repatriation. The Danish Refugee Council offered to help me with a clarification trip. All expenses were paid, so it was easy to get started. It was really just to try to be down here for an extended period and experience what life was like down here. This helped me to clarify many of the questions I had. Starting a business down here is a very long process. Our colleague was on board from the start. I employed him straight away and we walked an average of between 10,000 and 20,000 steps a day in the month we were starting up the business. You get a document issued in one place, then you need to have it stamped in another, and then you have to submit it in yet another. Then you have to wait and go back again. There's so much paperwork down here, and not as much is done electronically and digitally as you are used to in Denmark. The smartest thing to do is probably to find someone who can help, like we did at the start. This may be someone who understands the legal side of things, because the most difficult thing to manage down here is the law. As you can see in my office, we have many whiteboards and we use a lot of magnets. That is something I've learnt in Denmark, using systems so that you work in a structured and systematic way. This is something I've brought with me down here and I use it very effectively every day. Then there's the general mentality you have in Denmark when you think of work. When you work, you work. But down here, things are usually very different. Bosnia has a very Italian culture, and a lot of time is spent outside. Usually you at least eat lunch in town, and then probably also have a cup of coffee or two, either with colleagues or friends during a working day. A normal week for me would be approximately 3 days with manufacturers, where we are out doing something physical, where we are out checking samples, prototypes or overseeing production, and 2 days would be here in Sarajevo, in the office. Now we are in the car, on our way out to one of my manufacturers. It is a smaller manufacturer. He works with solid wood, and I think it's also important to say that we do not only have these giant factories here, but we also have to get smaller factories going. We can use the knowledge we have and the strength we have to get him started as well. That is where we probably have the biggest influence. With the smaller manufacturers, the larger ones would be alright, but the small ones are good to have on board. Then we of course focus a great deal on ensuring that conditions for employees are good down here. That implies that everything from safety being in order to paying employees a decent wage. The factory we are visiting today is a small family-owned business, which is owned by father and son. It is a producer of solid wood. They mainly manufacture chairs, but also tables and cupboards and things like that. My business and I are also FSC certified, so the FSC requires that we check our suppliers and ensure that they comply with FSC rules. The machinery is not the most advanced in the world. This was part of what I was talking about before, about these smaller manufacturers also needing help. In order for them to transfer to new and more automated machinery, this requires more work. As you can see, there's a lot of manual work and handicraft involved here. On the other hand, you get the charm from the handicraft and the quality is first class. Every single product has been through someone's hands. You do not get that with machinery. The prices are also very different to what they are in Denmark. For example, this is mostly due to hourly wages, where the hourly wage in Denmark for a good carpenter is about 200 Danish kroner. Down here, the hourly wage for a carpenter is probably closer to 25 to 30 Danish kroner. Then there's also the flexibility that we are close by. This means that you can trade in smaller quantities. You do not need to deal in full containers and trucks. You can deal in just a pallet or a couple of pallets. If there are any complaints, you can get things rectified. That is more difficult in China. In Denmark, when you have a written agreement between two people or two businesses, it is valid, and that is what you look at. Down here, people pay much more attention to verbal agreements, the handshake we give each other. If I have said something to a manufacturer and promised him something, I have to keep it, and he will also promise a great deal. Of course, we have written agreements with people down here, etc. But for about 3 years now, they have not been mentioned on a single occasion. You have to focus much more on the human side of things down here. The best advice I can give you is probably to ensure that you have work before you go. Whether this is with other businesses or just working externally. If you have started your own business, do you have something to do? From day one, when you get down here, that would be a really good piece of advice. It's been a pleasure to share some of my experiences and some of my day-to-day life with you. I hope that you will find some of it useful. I also hope that it has whetted your appetite to start something similar. Now I'll go and respond to some emails. It is almost time for me to go home and relax. Take care.